All right, today we're tackling a topic that so many people experience but is often misunderstood: menopause brain fog. We're going to break down what the latest science actually says is going on inside your brain during this time. You ever do that thing where you walk into the kitchen and just stand there, completely blanking on why you came in? Or maybe you're in the middle of a sentence and the perfect word just vanishes. If any of that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place.
And here's the most important thing I want you to hear right off the bat. You are not imagining this. You're not losing your mind. It's a real, recognized thing called menopause brain fog, and there are very real biological reasons for it.
Okay, so let's get into the science of it. What we're talking about today comes from a new scientific review that was just presented at the Menopause Society's annual meeting. It pulls together all the latest research to give us a much clearer picture of what's happening. The big headline from this review is that those feelings, that mental sluggishness, that forgetfulness, they're not just in your head. Well, they are, but they're linked to actual structural adaptations that are happening in your brain during this transition. It's pretty fascinating. So, what exactly is going on up there? The research shines a light on 3 specific ways the brain changes and adapts during menopause. So let's break them down one by one. Okay, so the research points to these 3 key things. First, there's a change in your brain's gray matter volume. Second, we see an increase in something called white matter hyperintensities. And third, there's a shift in your estrogen receptors. Now, I know those sound kind of technical and intimidating, but stick with me. We'll make it make sense. Let's start with gray matter. You can think of this as the brain's command center. It's crucial for memory, making decisions, all that high-level thinking. The review found that during menopause, key parts of this gray matter can actually decrease in volume for a while, which lines up perfectly with those cognitive symptoms. But here is the really good news. This is not permanent. The research suggests this gray matter volume can actually bounce back after menopause is over. This completely reframes the whole experience, right? It means your brain isn't failing, it's actively adapting, it's remodeling. Okay, next up, white matter hyperintensities. Sounds pretty dramatic, doesn't it? On a brain scan, they basically look like tiny bright spots, and scientists have connected them to a higher risk for things like cognitive decline or even mood changes down the road. And this might help explain why menopause can feel so different for every person. The researchers pointed out that these little bright spots are seen more often in women who start menopause early or who have really frequent hot flashes. So we've talked about the what. Now let's get to the why. Why is all of this happening in the first place? Well, the answer really boils down to one powerful hormone: estrogen. This quote from Dr. Fatima Naqvi, an OB-GYN, just says it all. Our brains are driven by estrogen. It plays this huge, massive role in how our brains function every single day. So here's the key idea. When your estrogen levels start to fall naturally, your brain doesn't just give up. Instead, it kicks off this incredible remodeling project. It's literally rewiring itself to figure out how to keep running efficiently, just with less of that key messenger.
But you know, it's rarely ever just one thing, right? While hormones are the main driver, there are a couple of other factors that are really common during menopause that can make that brain fog feel even thicker.
Yep, no big surprises here. Poor sleep and high stress. So many women say their sleep just goes out the window during menopause, and we all know how just one bad night can mess with our focus. Now imagine that happening a lot, plus the stress of this whole life change. It's like the perfect recipe for brain fog. All right, now for the part you've been waiting for. What can we actually do about all this? Let's pivot from the science to the solutions. There are absolutely expert-backed ways to support your brain and get some of that clarity back. The experts really point to a 3-part approach. First, fuel your brain with the right foods. Second, make exercise a non-negotiable part of your routine. And third, and this is so important, talk to a healthcare professional about what you're experiencing. Let's dig into the food part a little more. Dr. Naqvi specifically calls out foods that are packed with omega-3 fatty acids. So think fatty fish like salmon, or if you're not a fish person, walnuts are fantastic. It's like giving your brain the premium building materials it needs for its big remodeling job. Now, what about hormone therapy? It comes up a lot, and as Dr. Jennifer Wu says here, it can't help. Some women find it makes a huge difference with their sleep and mental clarity. But it's so important to have realistic expectations. It's not a magic pill, and it's just one of many tools in the toolbox. This really sums up the best advice perfectly. The number one thing to do?
Have a real, open conversation with your doctor. They can go over your specific situation and talk about evidence-based options. What should you steer clear of? All those unregulated supplements you see online making wild promises. It's just better to stick with professional medical advice.
If you only remember one single thing from our whole conversation today, please let it be this. Your brain is not broken. It is not failing you. It is a powerful, resilient organ that is actively and intelligently adapting to a brand new reality.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about. Knowing that your brain is on this incredible journey of adaptation, how are you going to support it? Whether it's adding more walnuts to your diet, going for a walk, or making that doctor's appointment, you have the power to help your brain navigate this transition. Thanks for tuning in.